Right now, something important is happening, and most people are too distracted to even notice it. Life keeps moving, routines stay the same, and it feels like everything is normal, but beneath that surface, things are shifting. Quietly. Gradually. And if you're not paying attention, you could miss something that truly matters to your future. We live in a world where people wait for loud signals, big announcements, or dramatic changes before they take action. But the truth is, the things that impact your life the most don't always come with noise. They come silently, and they reward those who are alert, those who are aware, those who choose to stay informed when others choose to ignore. This is one of those moments. A moment where being early, being aware, and being focused can make a real difference. Because when something changes, especially something connected to your income, your stability, your security, it's not just news. It's personal. It touches your daily life in ways you might not even realize at first. Think about it. Every decision you make about your time, your attention, and your awareness shapes your future. And right now, you have a choice. You can scroll past this, ignore it, and hope everything works out on its own, or you can pause, lean in, and truly understand what's happening around you. Because the people who stay ahead in life are not always the smartest or the luckiest. They are the ones who pay attention when it matters most. They don't wait until it's too late. They don't wait until confusion turns into stress. They take a moment, they focus, and they make sure they understand what's going on. And this moment right here, it matters more than you think. There's a quiet kind of confusion spreading right now, and you can feel it if you really pay attention. People are hearing things, small updates, partial information, numbers being mentioned, but nothing feels clear. One person says something has increased, another says the rules have changed, and someone else says it doesn't even apply to them. And in the middle of all this noise, most people are left unsure, uncertain, and honestly a little lost. It's not because they don't care. It's because the information feels complicated. It feels distant. It feels like something only experts understand. So what do most people do? They step back. They ignore it. They tell themselves, I'll figure it out later, or it probably doesn't affect me that much. But that confusion doesn't go away on its own. It grows. It creates doubt. And doubt slowly turns into missed opportunities. You start questioning things. Am I eligible? Am I getting the right amount? Has something changed that I should know about? And instead of getting answers, you get stuck in a loop of uncertainty. That feeling, it drains your confidence. It makes you hesitate. And when you hesitate too long, you fall behind without even realizing it. The truth is, confusion is one of the biggest barriers between people and what they deserve. Not lack of ability. Not lack of effort. Just confusion. Because when things are unclear, people don't act. And when people don't act, they miss out. But here's what makes this moment different. The confusion you're feeling right now isn't permanent. It's not something you're stuck with. It's simply a signal, a sign that there's something important you haven't fully understood yet. And once that clarity comes, everything starts to shift. The stress begins to fade. The doubt starts to disappear. And suddenly, what once felt complicated becomes simple, clear, and completely within your control. This is not just information. This is not just another update that you hear and forget the next day. This is something that reaches into your real life, into your daily routine, into the way you live, spend, and plan your future. It's personal, whether you realize it right now or not. Every single change connected to your income has a direct effect on how you feel at the end of the month. It affects how comfortably you can pay your bills, how confidently you can handle unexpected expenses, and how secure you feel about tomorrow. It's not about numbers on a screen, it's about peace of mind. It's about knowing that you're okay, that you're stable, that you can breathe without constantly worrying about what's coming next. For some people, even a small increase can mean relief. It can mean less stress when buying groceries, less hesitation when paying for something important, less pressure when managing responsibilities. And for others, not understanding these changes can mean the opposite. It can mean missed benefits, missed support, and a feeling that something is off, even if they can't explain why. This is where it becomes real. Because it's not just about what is changing, it's about how it changes your life. It's about how prepared you are to receive what's meant for you, and how aware you are of what you might be missing. The difference between knowing and not knowing can quietly shape your entire financial situation. And the truth is, you deserve to feel secure. You deserve to understand exactly where you stand. You deserve to know that you are not leaving anything behind simply because you didn't have the right information at the right time. When something affects your stability, your comfort, and your future like this does, it stops being optional to understand it. It becomes necessary. It becomes something you owe to yourself, to your peace, and to the life you are trying to build every single day. There is something powerful hidden inside all of this, something most people are not seeing yet. While many are focused on confusion or ignoring the changes completely, there is actually an opportunity quietly waiting to be understood. Not something loud or obvious, but something real. Something that can make a difference if you take a moment to truly see it. Because every change brings a shift, and every shift carries potential. It might not look big at first. It might just seem like a small update, a slight increase, or a minor adjustment. But when you look deeper, when you connect the dots, you begin to realize that this is more than just numbers changing. This is about positioning yourself in a better place than before. Think about how often opportunities pass by simply because people don't recognize them. Not because they weren't there, but because no one slowed down enough to understand them. And the same thing can happen here. Right now. The difference between someone who benefits and someone who misses out is not luck, it's awareness. There's a moment of anticipation in situations like this. A moment where things are about to become clearer, where the confusion starts turning into understanding, and where small details begin to make sense. And in that moment, you start to feel something shift inside you. You start to realize that this isn't just another update, it's something that could actually work in your favor. But that feeling only comes if you stay present. If you stay open. If you choose to lean in instead of pulling away. Because the truth is, something better is coming through this change, but only for those who take the time to understand it, to recognize it, and to act on it in the right way. Right now, you are right at the edge of that understanding. Right before everything starts to connect. Right before it all begins to make sense. At this point, it's no longer just about what's happening, it's about how seriously you choose to take it. Because moments like this test something deeper than knowledge. They test your attention, your responsibility, and your willingness to show up for your own life. It's easy to ignore things that don't feel urgent. It's easy to assume that everything will work itself out, that someone else will explain it later, or that it doesn't really matter right now. But that mindset is exactly what causes people to fall behind without even realizing it. Not because they didn't have the chance, but because they didn't take it seriously when it was right in front of them. You have to understand, no one is going to force you to pay attention. No one is going to chase you down and make sure you fully understand what's changing or how it affects you. That responsibility belongs to you. And that's not pressure, it's power. Because the moment you accept that responsibility, you stop depending on luck, and you start depending on awareness. This is where your mindset shifts. Instead of being passive, you become active. Instead of waiting, you start observing. Instead of assuming, you start questioning. You begin to take ownership of the information that shapes your life. And that alone puts you in a completely different position than most people. Because the truth is, the gap between those who stay informed and those who don't keeps growing over time. Small differences in attention lead to big differences in outcomes. The people who take a few moments to truly understand what's going on today are the same people who feel more secure, more prepared, and more confident tomorrow. So this is your moment to decide how you show up. Whether you treat this like background noise, or whether you recognize it for what it really is, something that deserves your full attention, your focus, and your respect. And then something starts to shift. Slowly at first, but you can feel it. The noise begins to fade, the confusion starts to settle, and what once felt complicated begins to open up in a way that actually makes sense. It's like stepping out of a fog and finally seeing the road in front of you clearly. All those questions that were circling in your mind, what changed, how it affects you, what you should do, they don't feel overwhelming anymore. Instead, they begin to line up, one by one, in a way that feels simple, clear, and manageable. And that's the power of clarity. It doesn't just give you answers, it gives you calm. It gives you confidence. Because when things are unclear, your mind fills the gaps with worry. You start imagining worst-case scenarios, you hesitate, you hold back. But when things become clear, that hesitation disappears. You don't second guess every step. You don't feel stuck. You start to move forward with purpose. This is where everything begins to make sense. The numbers, the updates, the rules, they stop feeling like complicated information and start feeling like something you can actually understand and use. And once you reach that point, something changes inside you. You go from feeling uncertain to feeling in control. You realize that this was never too complicated for you. It was just never explained in a way that truly connected. And now that it does, you can finally see how everything fits together. You can see where you stand, what you qualify for, and what steps you need to take next. And in that moment, the stress that once came from not knowing is replaced by a quiet confidence. A sense that you're no longer guessing, no longer left in the dark. You understand what's happening, and that understanding gives you a kind of clarity that feels steady, strong, and real. And this is where everything comes together. Not just as information, not just as something you heard, but as something you now truly understand. You can feel the difference. Before, there was uncertainty. There were questions, doubts, and that quiet feeling of being unsure about what's really going on. But now, something inside you feels steady. You're no longer looking at this from the outside. You're not guessing anymore. You're not depending on bits and pieces from others. You've stepped into a place where things make sense, where you can see clearly, and where you know exactly what this means for you. That feeling, it's powerful. Because when you feel informed, you start to feel in control. And when you feel in control, everything changes. The way you think, the way you plan, the way you approach your future, it all becomes stronger, more confident, more certain. You begin to trust yourself more. You stop doubting whether you're doing the right thing. You stop feeling like you're one step behind everyone else. Instead, you feel prepared. You feel ready. You feel like you understand something that truly matters, and that understanding gives you an edge that most people don't even realize exists. This is not just about knowing facts. It's about knowing where you stand. It's about knowing that you are not missing out, that you are aware, and that you are making decisions from a place of clarity, not confusion. And when you reach that point, something shifts deep inside. You carry yourself differently. You think differently. You move forward with a sense of calm strength, knowing that you've taken the time to understand what many people overlook. You're no longer reacting to things after they happen. You're ahead. You're aware. You're in control of how you respond, how you prepare, and how you move forward from here.